Well, let's get to the email question from a viewer tonight. Janet asks, how do lawyers decide how much your case should be worth? Do lawyers decide this, Bill?
Well, you know, look, I mean, I've been doing this for 26 years, and so I would be, and a lot of people are probably nodding their head right now at the TV screen. When I say I would be an absolute idiot if I didn't have at least some thought, you know, when someone comes into my office with an accident and they tell me what the facts are, they tell me what the insurance coverage is, they tell me, you know, all this and that. So, yeah, you can have some type of idea, but when I meet with a new client, I always tell them this is kind of part of my spiel, if you want to use that. Because I've learned over the years that most people have two questions that they really want to know. They want to know, how long will this take as far as the case, and how much is my case worth? And I look them, I mean, I did it 3 times last week. I look them straight in the eye and I tell them that if anyone tells you what your case is worth and how long it's going to take, they're not telling you the truth. You know, they're making a guesstimate, or they're just trying to get you in the door, get you to sign up to a contract. Because, look, I learned a long time ago to stop guessing how much a person's case is worth and how long it's going to take, because, you know, for several reasons. And I know we got to go to a commercial, but about 4 or 5 years ago, I had a lady come into my office that she was standing up. She was perfect. I mean, you know, she said, yeah, I was in a car wreck, but I feel fine. I don't think I'm injured, and I think I'm going to be okay. But my husband told me to come see you anyway. All right. So I'm like, this is not going to be much of a case, because she's okay. She went to the hospital, but she's probably not going to need any additional treatment. 2 days later, I had a guy come in. They wheeled him into a wheelchair, and he wasn't putting on. This poor fella couldn't stand. He couldn't lift his head. Long story short, the woman who came in that was all fine and dandy, she wound up having 3 herniations in her neck, wound up having to have a fusion in her cervical and her lumbar spine. Just an awful injury, and her case was off the charts as far as the value. The other guy that came in the wheelchair, he called me about a week later and said, Bill, through the mercy of God, or, he said, I'm fine. I was just stove up for a few days and I'm good. I don't need to go back to the doctor. And of course I kept, checking with him for a month or 2 to make sure that his body just wasn't tricking him. But sure enough, he wasn't injured. And we did send him to get an MRI. They all came back negative. And so his case was worth a heck of a lot less than the other person. And you would think it was reversed. So the bottom line is, you never know.
Yeah.
And so don't trust someone that's going to tell you your case is worth X amount, or it's going to take this amount. You have to let it play out. Each case is different.
Yeah, appearances can be very deceiving, as we have learned.